I'm David Palmer here at BYU Idaho, and we're teaching statistics and data science, and Austin's one of our students, and he's here to tell us about an analysis that he recently did. Austin, before we just jump in, maybe you can tell us what's the overarching research question and why did you choose that question?
Yeah, so the overarching research question is, am I getting better at golf? And so that's I love to golf. I'm an avid golfer, and so that's why I chose this topic
Okay.
and why I wanted to explore it. The other thing about golf is that you can get some pretty cool data out of it. It's pretty easy to record, and you can get some. And obviously, this is individual to me, so this is actually beneficial to what I'm trying to do in the future.
What are some of the, like, what was the biggest headache that you came across as you tried to prep? And then you can show us maybe how you overcame that.
Yeah, I think the biggest headache is that so I record my golf data in an app like while I'm playing, and then I had to there's no way to actually get that data from an app like in an automated fashion. So I had to hand transfer all of my data over to
Yeah,
a
that's
CSV
painful.
file. So and I mean I have quite a bit. I have 369 entries of individual holes played. So it took me a little while
Okay.
to sit down and actually do everything. But yeah, this is the table of all of my data. Actually, you can see I have the date that I played, what course I played on, what number of hole it is, what the par of that hole is, what my score was, how many putts I took on that hole, how many chips I took on that hole, how many shots out of the sand I took on that hole. If I hit the fairway, which on par threes doesn't count, so I left those blank and A's,
Okay.
right? But if I hit the fairway, which is one if I did, zero if I didn't, and if I hit a green in regulation, one if I did, zero if I didn't. Green regulation is if you hit the green two under par. Fairway hit is if I hit the fairway off my tee shot.
Okay. So what are parts are you proud of in terms of the wrangling or the visualization that you can show us?
Yeah. So let's go down here. I did have to do some cleaning because just with how much entries by hand I had to fix a few issues. But fortunately, I'm familiar enough with this data that I was able to specifically identify what the issues were. They were either that I had a wrong tee. Um, what I mean by that is I counted my tee shot as a chip shot when I shouldn't have.
Okay.
And so that's what a wrong tee is. You can see I have some of these that are wrong tees. I have a bad entry, which is just I put in the number incorrectly. And I was able to identify double counts, which is when I counted the shots that I took out of the stand as chip shots when I'm now later distinguishing those. And so being able to go back, clean those was pretty cool. This is a graph I'm really proud of.
Maybe the scroll, excuse me, maybe.
Yeah. It shows, from the first game that I took of the year to even recently as the 18th and today's the 21st. So
Okay.
of the scores that I played to come up with this graph. Sometimes in golf, sometimes we play 9 holes, sometimes we play 18. And so what I did is that I was able to isolate the games where I played 9, double the score that I got, so I could have a simulated score to par that I could actually compare with my 18
Okay.
hole games. And so, in these cases down here, I played 5 over par through 9. But you double that, get to 10 over par. So this graph, I don't think there's strong evidence to show that I'm getting better at golf. That's very up and down, but I think there's maybe some weak evidence to there just may be a downward trend in there somewhere.
Yeah, well, that's good. Maybe just a couple more questions. One would be, and maybe you're going to show later on, but if you had a few more hours to wrestle with the data, what else would you do?
Yeah, I did end up doing just a little bit more here. One of the things is I wanted to see my score distribution if I hit a green in regulation. And you can see this is a very nice, normally distributed set of data. I mostly hit pars if I get to a green in regulation. You can see this is my mean score, 0.08. So just barely positive, but I think it's negligible.
Uh-huh.
Compare that to my distribution of my scores when I don't hit green in regulation, and it's a pretty drastic difference. I figured that the the change would be in the positive direction, but I didn't think it'd be that drastic. You can see my actual average is 1.5. So I basically go from a par golfer if I hit green in regulation to a double bogey golfer if I don't, which is kind of crazy. So the last question I asked myself was, how do I get more green in regulations, right? Because that's obviously very beneficial to my score. Made a little table of if I hit the fairway and if I hit the green in regulation, and I did a chi-square test with it and came up with a pretty significant value showing that if I hit the fairway, then I get more green in regulations. So the game plan from here is to hit more fairways off the tee shot.
All right. Do you know where to start working, start improving your game?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Thank you.